Hi, everybody. I'm Grace Wubeck, and this is a live conversation in the series of Living from Love online events. And today I'm speaking with Ananta, Kranti Ananta. Hi, Ananta.
Hello, everybody.
Hi. And I asked Ananta how I should introduce her, and she said, well, I don't know. So I said, I don't know either. So we decided to jump right in. And but I will say something about Ananta myself, because I became aware of her through some of the YouTube videos that she posted online on Facebook. And what I noticed, it tends to be videos from her satsangs or from retreats she does in Thailand. And I noticed that basically the way she interacts with people, there was something very powerful in that, and energetically really there seemed to be real shifts happening for people. And so that was something that I noticed, and I recognized in terms of what happens when there is true insight, that there also is something in the energy that shifts. Excuse me. So I saw that on the videos, and it was really what made me want to talk to Ananta. So here's my little introduction, Ananta.
Thank you. Thank you. It's beautiful.
Yeah, glad you like it.
Yeah.
So I just want to say technically that Ananta is joining us from Thailand. It's not raining today, but she has a 3G connection, and it does go wonky from time to time. So if it does, please bear with us, and we'll try to bring her back on as soon as possible. Or if it goes wonky, she may need to take her camera off, so that what we have is just a transmission of sound. But hopefully it'll be all good today.
It looks like we are alone. There's no more little boxes. Huh?
Do you mean the thumbnails, Ananta?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they'll come back on. Just see what happens.
Yeah.
It's just another one of the little surprises. So let's jump into the subject, Ananta.
Okay.
And the subject is deepening. And what spoke to me in your text about it, in your little blurb, is that phrase that you use, it's a great undoing, or something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering whether you could comment on that. What do you mean by that exactly?
Yeah. It's like when like in my experience, since the moment I first became aware of my real true nature as being awareness, aware of itself. From that moment, there seemed to be like a rapid, like as if that recognition was an invitation. And immediately there was like a rapid undoing of this, everything here in this body mind beginning to be seen in a way that it had not been seen before. So, and it was like life continuing quite, normally as it always was, except it was being seen
Mm.
in a way that couldn't be believed in.
Mm-hmm.
And everything was like presenting itself, and it still is. It's like the way I experience it is like all the generations of the past that are somehow informed this body, this with programs and belief systems and all of whatever, including this life, including what we've put together in our own belief system,
Mm.
conditioning and all of that. It's like it's constantly presenting itself to be undone.
Mm.
And I don't just see it, it's not like a personal thing here. It's with all the people I work with. It's like
Mm.
if there's 10 people in a room, the undoing is happening to the one.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just like a mini example of what's taking place on the planet.
Mm.
And when we are meeting as the same one awareness, we're meeting in this true meeting, it seems to go so fast, so obvious,
Mm-hmm.
like it's speeded up
Mm-hmm.
as it's all being recognized by
Mm.
one. But it's like it's within this system, but it's also just shows a little tiny bit of what's happening collectively.
Mm.
So I can say that, even in the last 2 weeks, an undoing through my system, which I can even know the moment when it was
Mm.
put together as a young girl. Like when I consciously decided, okay, from now on, it's going to be like this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like
Mm.
that first original cut off from pure love
Mm. Mm-hmm.
until it becoming like a protected
Yes.
love. Yeah, a conditioned love. And like that very moment, it was like yesterday, so clear to me when this young girl's mind put in place.
Mm.
And yeah, in the last couple of weeks, I was meeting that in such a way of it being like undone in such, like as if pockets in the body system wired with this
Mm-hmm.
um, program was just undoing, and all the agony, all the real pain that couldn't be
Mm.
felt at that time coming up all through the body, and such a sweetness
Mm.
in the middle of it because of the knowing of what's happening.
Mm. Mm.
And the bringing that knowing right into those places in such an exquisite meeting
Mm.
of truth.
Mm.
And I don't feel that this is like about me or this one. It's like that's what we're in.
Mm. Mm.
It's an example.
Mm-hmm. You know what I recognize is what you say about the sweetness that somehow, you feel the pain of it and the intensity of it, but at the same time it's like there is a sweetness around it or with it or at this there at the same time or in it, even in the feeling of it,
Yes.
that it's like it so deeply that
Yes.
somehow it doesn't grip you quite in the same way anymore.
No, it doesn't grip. That's it. The stickiness is gone. The
Mm-hmm.
stickiness. But you can see the whole mind pattern around it trying to produce the old program, and there's no way to believe in it. So it's just like, okay, to bring this knowing really into those places, and the body is going through a remaking, a reshaping.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the body is it's not embodied. The recognition of what we truly are is not in the body. The body is full of memory, right? Even if the essence of it is. It's like all the memories are there, and they've got nobody in them anymore. Innocent.
Yes.
It's so innocent. The programs that run through these bodies are so innocent, and when we take it to be ourself, it's like we're trying to fix it and change it and do something about it, and you know, become the awareness and not look at it, and so many little ways in which we, you know, even to use spiritual talk to deny it somehow, so the body is not inhabited.
Yes. It's really, I mean, it's really one of the greatest dangers, especially, actually, I know, I wouldn't say that. It's always, you know, spiritual beliefs can always be used to keep experience at a distance, you know, to not fully experience.
Totally.
And so, you know, whether that's in more traditional settings, like, you know, in one of my online groups, I had somebody who had been, I think, in Amas ashram in India for a while, and you know, the spiritual belief there is that you just don't go into the emotions, you know, you just don't take them seriously. And it's the same, you know, it's the same like Christian traditions and whatever, you know, I mean, it doesn't even have to be non-dual. But the spiritual beliefs are used almost like as a way of keeping the experience at bay, seemingly, you know, as if we could.
A new program.
Yeah.
I see it all the time, you know, people contact me all the time, and they have learned these that are all about, oh, if I just remain like, you know, like phrases that talk about the ego and the self, and it's like it's all made separate. You know, as if there is an ego that's trying to do something, and it's really, as far as I see it, it's the old way. It's the old paradigm, and just as everything from the old teachings, in all the ways, in every way that doesn't work anymore, is all coming undone. It's also in the spiritual teachings, it's coming undone. The whole master disciple thing, it's coming undone.
And you know, it just occurs to me that maybe even that is totally innocent, because you know, in keeping things at bay and kind of like just finding a way of controlling, and you know, and people often even use that gesture. It's like they say, oh, it's just emotions, you know, oh, it's just this, it's just a belief, you know. And even that's kind of innocent, because you know, people see in doing that, people see more clearly what they're dealing with, but not from a totally innocent place yet. you know.
Right.
But
Yeah.
it is seen more clearly, and that actually serves, doesn't it? I mean, you know, it's not ultimate liberation, but it's kind of, I don't know, it does create awareness of a
Yeah.
sort. And
But
that's
what?
actually quite useful.
Yes, it is. Yet it doesn't stop there. It's
No,
what I
that's right.
experience in my own unraveling is that I'm being called deeper all the
Yes.
time,
Yes.
constantly, constantly being called deeper. Yeah,
Mhm.
constant calling, and it's the calling from my own heart to be all that I am in every to be all that I am, you know, to fit all that I am into this little body, even if it is that, like for this body to be really, really all that I am in every single behavior,
Mm.
you know, like there's a constant calling for more and more surrender,
Mm.
letting go,
Yes.
undoing. It's constant, and it's really not about arriving somewhere.
Mm. Yes.
You know, that idea of getting to a certain place,
Mm.
and then that,
Yes.
then the whole rug will be pulled out again, because
Mm-hmm.
wherever you arrive and think you know, the only thing you're really, really knowing is your nature. And then
Yes.
everything you come to know will be again ripped away, right?
Mm. Mm. And, you
Taking it
know,
all.
go ahead.
It's taking it all. It's taking
Yeah.
it all. It's taking it all.
Mm.
And the more I experience that edge, it's always an edge of
Mm-hmm.
going where I haven't been, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that wherever I experience that edge and keep opening into the more of what I
Mm.
am,
Mm-hmm.
there is like a greater capacity of this body to feel
Mm.
all of what's in humanity, all of it, all the
Mm-hmm.
way through it, all the
Mm-hmm.
time.
Mm. Mm.
Just when I think I can't handle, if I would imagine I've had enough, I can't handle, then it breaks that limitation into a greater
Mm.
openness
Yeah.
to have the
Yeah.
capacity to be all that I am, which can hold the whole existence, which it is, right?
Yes. Yes. And you know, there's something, I don't know, that there's something comes to be very joyful. You know, there's an edge, and there's always such a joy in just being there, you know. I mean, not to start with, because to start with, there's still a little resistance there to it, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
ever so slight, but the moment that's seen, you
The
know,
moment not,
there's just this opening, and that's, wow, that's always so joyful.
I
You
like
know.
to say it's where love making happens. Yeah, it's on the edge of
Uh-huh.
the moment of really, really being entered
Mhm.
and being made new.
Mhm.
Like the conversation, life with itself,
Mm.
bringing what we are now realizing into the next expression. What we're now realizing into the next expression, because
Mhm.
there's always going to be. I mean, I don't talk about levels and all of that, you know, but somehow to use a word, there's always the next level of
Mhm.
being taken.
Mhm. Maybe,
It's that.
yes, and then maybe talking about the edge, I like that because there's no implication of levels, like
Yeah,
there's always the next edge, and
yeah, yeah. It's not
as
levels. It's
long
not.
as, life is not totally freed, that there'll continue to be edges that will
Yes,
be, that call for full experience and full awareness and full opening into. And, for me, the image would be less one of being entered, but actually just kind of an opening into whatever it is, full kind of just like full on opening. But that's, yeah. we had our little pre-conversation discussion about images and which images worked for us, and
yeah.
Ananta had suggested a title for our conversation that was "Love Making of Existence," and it was all about being entered by existence, and somehow that just didn't work
No,
for me.
no, no, no. It's not. No, no, that doesn't work for me either. It's not
Oh,
about
okay, go ahead.
like it's the penetration of awareness,
Okay.
entering experience,
Hmm.
right? The penetration of what I am as pure
Yes,
awareness,
yes.
entering my very experience in each
Hmm.
moment. So what I like the ways in which this has been made up, and it has a certain ways to do things.
Hmm.
When I really there's like so many conditions in that. Like I talk to people all the
Oh,
time, and
you're breaking
so,
up, Ananta. Can you repeat that?
yeah, hold on, because my battery power has done something also. I've got to make sure. Hmm. Okay, and now?
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I talk to people who have this recognition of awareness being aware of
Hmm.
itself, and this is recognized, right? And then we come across like why they are not really living the calling of the true heart. Like
Hmm.
then there pops up all these reasons about why they cannot do this and that,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So usually made up of conditioned, limited beliefs and
Hmm.
programs, right?
Hmm.
So they are standing in the way of like really, really moving into what I really feel I'm truly here to live, you
Hmm.
know? And so it's those edges that are being called to like let that all break down and step into the unknown and like knowing nothing, just follow your true heart. Yeah.
Hmm.
So it came across in my own life experience where I felt like I was knowing something very deeply, like a deepest knowing just in the place of clear knowing, like just
Hmm.
a deep, deep knowing. But yet my lived experience, I wasn't taking that action.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and I was like feeling the pain of that contradiction,
Hmm.
and that brought up all of the things that held that together.
Hmm.
And when I came to a place of like really seeing that, I was calling this deepest knowing, this deepest clarity as the masculine principle,
Hmm.
being pure awareness, absolute, like when I saw that not moving into my every experience was like like when I moved from that into my every experience in the life situations, that's the first lovemaking, where this deepest presence entering experience, and I'm calling that, I was calling that, I can call that him and her, right? And that's what you went, no. But it's just a not it's just a way to speak. It doesn't mean that there are two of
Yes.
anything. It's just
Yeah.
expression. And that's what I saw, that when I made that movement to really move regardless of everything, to move from that knowing into experience, even though all the what ifs and all the things, when I did that, it moved not only my life, it moved my life in a way that had a domino effect, where so many things started falling down, and it moved not only my life but all the people that I'm in contact with, and what life reflected back to me. Everything just started from that energy. It is a love making, the love making of existence happening through me, as me, in its true meeting of deepest presence meeting this moment, and in infusing the actions of, so that I don't have like this deepest knowing, whatever it is, and yet my life is something different. And then there's this, oh no, that's just the passing by show, it doesn't matter, blah, blah, blah. But I'm actually in the lovemaking. And this really, it changed not only the whole experience everywhere, even if my mind was like, and there was a lot of pain coming with it. It also changed everybody I sat with, and all the sharings with people, and all it's like into the field, the greater field, just like yeah, really making love in the whole existence. And everybody I sit with and work with comes into that lovemaking, and we are in that meeting as one. I mean, these groups are really, really full of this essence of lovemaking, even though things are dying and the greatest pain and the greatest, yeah, and the shifts that take place in that are not, of course, not any of my doing. They are just moving from this.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what occurs to me is that my metaphor is just, I mean, like my own image of understanding what it means for awareness to to meet everything. I guess it's more feminine, if we use those terms, because it feels to me as if there is this aware beingness, and there's experience, and somehow everything takes place in this awareness. So it's like, it's almost like the image that I have for it
Mm.
if we're talking about images, is
Mm.
that there's this great, it's almost like a holding kind of ground or bowl, and everything comes into it.
Yeah.
And as it comes into it, it's fully seen, it's fully met.
Yeah. I can
And
feel
that's what
that.
transforms everything, you see?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Totally. That works for me.
mhm. Well,
Mm.
it's a, you know, it's a much more feminine kind of image. Yours is much more kind of like more in the kind of masculine, you know, going right into the, you know, the experience that's seemingly not aware, but of course it is aware, it's just not fully aware. And for me, the
Oh
experience.
no, no, no. I don't. I didn't quite mean like that. I mean like our lived actions.
Mm-hmm,
You know, I didn't mean like the thing. The image you just described works for me
mm,
totally. Yes, 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 yes. What I mean really is like, for let's have an example. Like
mm-hmm,
somebody who somebody comes to mind right now. So I will use that, right?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
So she is having this knowing
mm-hmm.
of what's really true about her being, right? Yet she's
Oh, Ananta, you're breaking up. So you're talking about
in
she.
a job.
Okay,
No,
just say that again. You're thinking about that person, and
I was giving
hmm,
example to what I actually because I'm not experiencing.
yes,
I'm not. I'm not
yes,
referring to experience in general.
yes.
I'm referring to move into actions, actions,
Hmm,
the actions we take. You know,
yes.
like for example, the person I'm thinking of is in a world he should not, and people are like in relationships and marriages like
Mm-hmm,
this, right?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Cannot because of the children, because of
mm-hmm,
the boat that it will rock, right?
mm-hmm,
So then there's the knowing of what is really true for them, but they cannot do it.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
So then this creates a lot of pain.
Yes.
Yeah, because there's a truth here, but it cannot be lived.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah. So then when this deepest knowing, like I should walk out of this marriage and no matter about all the people it's
mm-hmm,
going to affect and all of that,
mm-hmm,
when moving from that knowing, regardless of the cost, into the actions
mm-hmm,
and taking that step
mm,
is breaking all of the conditioned ideas of why not and the fears and the consequences and all of that. And that's about where
mm,
awareness moves into experience.
mm, mm-hmm.
You get what I mean? It's not like
Yes, totally.
general,
Mm.
yeah.
I guess, you know, for me, it's like the doing emerges from awareness, you know, it emerges
Mm,
from this. And, I, you know, it's so clear the difference between things emerging from this awareness and, you know, things being done just from conditioning is so clear
mm.
that.
But sometimes it can be that somebody in the beginning of this uh, waking up, let's say,
Mhm,
they have this knowing of awareness,
yes.
but to take that step and end
Mm,
and this
mhm,
is not yet. There are too many fears and too many
yes. Yes.
old programs holding it together
Mhm,
in the level of the personality,
Yes. Yes.
that level. You know? It's not yet
Mm.
infused.
And you
It's
know,
not in-
now I get you. Okay.
right.
So let's continue on this, because this is really the way that deepening happens, isn't it? This is the way
Yes,
that
yes, it's the
awareness
invitation.
comes to be much more present. And you know, I mean, I can give an example from my own life. Um, of a relationship that I was in, where there was an awareness that it had ended for me, and I really needed to get out. But it took me a year before I was able to make that choice. Now, but you see, Ananta, I don't see any wrong with that. It's just that, you know, that's what
No,
it took.
it's not. It cannot. It comes by itself, of course, but as it comes, there's a deepening, right?
Mm.
When you come into that moment where the movement starts moving you, and you
Yes.
there's a deepening happening for you,
Mm-hmm.
right? Even though
Yes.
it's like a choiceless moment. It's like life is calling you into
Yes.
a deep with that. Yeah.
Yes. And this was
It's
like
not something.
15 years ago. So, you know, I wasn't in that awareness. I didn't live from that awareness at the time. So that's probably why it took so long, you know. But then also, my sense is that, you know, our relationships with others are the place where so much conditioning gets
Yes.
undone.
Yes.
So that, you know, it's like, in a way, some of them are there just to kind of keep chiseling away at, you know, whatever needs to be let go of. And when that's done,
Karmic.
then we're ready to
Yeah.
leave.
Yeah. And it, of course, it cannot happen a moment.
Ananta,
It's
you're
really
breaking
since
up again. So
okay.
just repeat what you responded, please.
Yeah. When I took that clear decision on that
Mm-hmm.
I would live from this knowing into experience
Mm-hmm.
in
Mm-hmm.
everything, right?
Yes.
That was a given. That was given to me. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't, I
Yes.
couldn't have done that without it
Mm.
being,
Mm.
you know?
Mm.
So
Yes.
I went through a lot of pain before that, of not
Yes.
doing that. But it's like, you know, so many people stay in marriages for years and years and years because they
Mm.
can't take that step.
Mm.
And that has been the old way.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Yeah, it's been the old way. And nowadays, there seems to be, to me, there seems to be like a radical quickening of
Mm-hmm.
stepping into
Mm.
where we least want to go, and
Yeah.
because it's insecurity,
Mm.
it's total unknown, total, and in that step, we're in this wide open field of
Mm.
which brings all the fear of identity and, you know, all everything. It brings all that up, but at the same time, it opens us to a
Mm.
greater being.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah, it's like you said, it's not something that, you know, can come before its time, but I can see that when that took place in my system over the
Mm.
last couple of years, then I work with people,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and that's just part of
Mm.
the
Ananta, you totally broke up there. I don't know whether it's my connection or yours, but we've lost you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is so interesting because, you know, this time there was like total silence, and I just thought, isn't that so interesting? You know, there's just this total unknown being embodied right here in this internet connection.
Isn't it amazing?
Hmm.
We're all communicating.
Hmm.
It's not in these words.
No, no.
No, no.
Hmm. Hmm. So let me ask you something because it comes to be asked. See what you make of this. And actually, two examples come. One is going back to the to the relationship. One way of stepping into of just being willing to come undone is actually almost like paradoxically, maybe at some level knowing that a relationship will not last, and yet there's a willingness to be so totally present in that and to the other person that can be the I mean, I'm putting a word now to it, that can be the authenticity that is there in that moment, it it's not always that, I know I need to leave this relationship and I'm not doing it. It can be, I know I need to leave this relationship, but for the time being, I'm just willing to be totally there.
Yeah, totally.
And for whatever stands in the way of truly being there fully and as aware as possible in this, whatever this is right now, that can be totally authentic and not at all suffering,
Yes, yes.
because then there's it's like a dying to whatever we thought we were.
Yes.
And it's a dying into the total unknowing, because it might be, that it could be that the sense that one has to leave is an old conditioning.
Absolutely. And then how to know? It's like,
exactly. And the only way of knowing is by keeping on being there, fully as you can, as aware as you can.
I've been up years and years waiting for the clear knowing,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's a constant dying, because nothing is the way you want it to be. And it's it's stripping away every idea, every condition, every compromise, everything. Strip it all away. But and within the same limitation, the relationship, the relating itself can keep on moving to new levels just when you thought it was done.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a great doorway. I mean, I really, really feel that to be fully, totally in a relating is like, you can't get better than that, to have for being ever sent to be met, like it's going to be everything up.
Yeah.
It's easy to be alone, isn't it?
I just thought of this. I just thought of this quote, that Sartre is known for. Hell is other people. But actually, the hell realm is there for burning. It's there for burning off everything. So when you embrace that burning, it's beautiful. It's perfect.
Take it all. Yeah. I'm in this burning still. It's like I don't experience it like
you break up so beautifully, Ananta.
sitting or walking. In the beginning, I used to really experience the body on fire, burning.
Mm-hmm.
The concept is here all the time. Not all the time, all day long, but it's going on, and that's what fuels me to just keep deepening and meeting people in this, and that's just so juicy and alive. It's it's so juicy and alive. It's not about, I don't know, last month compared to this month, the sharing will be so totally different because it's just ever more deepening.
Yes.
And delicious in that. I mean, we know that we're not getting out of here alive, so
So since Ananta keeps breaking up, I just thought of something wonderful, which is to just use those moments to simply just be, just be alive to what is there. Come back to this, whatever this is, when it doesn't include Ananta.
Did I disappear?
Yes, you disappear all the time, Ananta. You move in and out of existence for us.
This is true. Is that your cat?
It's just it's gotten quite bad. I mean, you keep kind of cutting out. But you're
What to
here
do?
right now. What to do? Yeah.
Wow. I will. Okay. I'll turn Skype off.
So Ananta, can you? What I'll do is I'll just connect with the YouTube thread and see whether anybody has any questions or comments. I'll give you a little break. Is that okay by you? Since there seems to be a natural break anyway. And I'll just see whether there are questions, and then I get back to you. Okay, I'll do that. So let's see. Uh-huh. So David says, "Hi Ananta and Grace. Great so far. In a way, the words don't matter. Lovely to share this moment with you." That's great. That's such a good spirit. I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you, David. And Victoria has a question from Spain. What's the role and the place of the feminine and masculine energies inside oneself concerning deepening?
Okay, Grace, are you okay with this question?
Absolutely. It's a question for you.
Okay, yeah.
I can open to that.
Yeah. Okay. If we first recognize that there are not two in any way, shape, or form in the whole existence, there is no separation between an awareness and experience. Right? It's one.
Mm-hmm.
Just as
By the
this
way, this is my feminine cat.
yeah. You see.
She has a very phallic tail.
You see, we're one. It's like it's not so. So in the first place, if we recognize that even though this body is apparently female, by design, it's not. It's both. Cannot be otherwise, right?
Yes.
It's like there is no duality. So if we recognize that in the first place, then what I'm calling, and it's just a way to speak, it's not to make any kind of separation and put in boxes and get some new, you know what I mean. So within myself, the deepest presence of my being, I'm calling them the principle. The principles of consciousness are stillness and movement. There's right now there's absolute stillness, which is silent, complete silence, and these words are moving. Right? Now, the complete silence is not separate to these words. Right? The silence, which is pure presence, is moving through these words. So there is no separation in that. There is the lovemaking of masculine and feminine principles, what I'm calling stillness and movement, as the same one, knowing itself in the lovemaking, this aware presence moving through these words. Okay, so this is the very first place of what I'm using words to say, that the very first essence of my being, which is stillness and movement, this is the first lovemaking, when the presence that I am is moving through these words. So, what was the question? What is the role of, okay, so I find my first male, in a female body, I find my first male here, as the presence of my being. That's the first male here. And before I look for it outside, I find it here, because it's a reflection. There is no outside. So when this presence is here, right here, moving in this experience, that's the direction of this moment. It's directing these words. Presence is directing these words. Right? I'm not using words right now by thinking them. They're being moved by awareness,
Yes.
right? So that's a very different meeting than if I'm thinking these words.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's what brings about the taste, you know, because when pure presence is moving these words, that brings about a taste
Yes,
of
totally.
yum yum, you know,
Mm-hmm.
really good, really good. Like the
Mm-hmm.
whole of life is just this moment, and the essence of being is producing a flavor of fulfillment
Mm-hmm.
within itself.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if presence is not moving these words and I'm just thinking them through according to the knowledge I think I have, this
Mm-hmm.
essence cannot be tasted,
Yes, totally.
and there is no lovemaking.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if this answers the question, but if the question is calling something different, please ask.
Yeah. So, Victoria, if you'd like to get back to Ananta about that, please feel free to do so. Let me see whether there's anything else here. Not for the time being.
And to add, some more words are coming from this same place of presence.
Mm-hmm.
As looking into happens, more words are coming through. That my life directions and decisions are moved from this penetrating awareness into
Mm-hmm.
these words and into decisions or movements of life.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm fulfilled because the lovemaking is happening regardless of experience.
Yes. Yes.
So then fulfillment is within itself. It's not dependent on how the experience turns out or on any other out there.
Mm. So Victoria says yes, you answered her question. Um, but I'd like to disagree with you.
Okay.
Um, not from mind actually, but really because, and I find that so interesting, you know. It's like what you describe as a masculine movement. To me, it feels much more feminine, you know, and the way that the experience is here, the way I experience it is when things move into action, it's like an expression of
Yes.
that truth.
Right.
And it's funny, you know. I mean, I never saw it quite like that, but it's almost that this beingness right now, yeah, I can't even say that. It's neither masculine nor feminine.
No, it's all
You
inclusive.
know.
May I say something more about
Okay,
like the
go
way
ahead.
that it's like before there is any experience in what like nothingness, unmanifest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. just pure silence.
Mm.
Out of that energy arises, right? And then takes form or creation.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not separate, the unmanifest and the manifest. It's not
Yes.
separate, right?
Yes.
But so the being, which is already pure presence, is just like here in total absolute stillness, nothing happening. And then the energy that rises up and takes form and creation is what is being called Shakti, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't used to put any words or labels on it of any of this. I just used to experience that. I never, the language didn't mean anything to me at all. I just used to come to satsang and drop so deep into presence and then be filled up with this energy that would just overflow and fill up the room and creativity start happening, you know? And I was always experiencing the whole room like in a kind of lovemaking, call it bliss or whatever. But I didn't put any, this is masculine, this is feminine, this is any labels or separation or anything. The language started coming through the more that I started to take on the language of Tantra.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not, it's like an expression. It's not, you know, it's like we can speak like that and we can speak another way. It doesn't matter.
Yes.
It's happening anyway.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But what I will say is that since I took on the language and the more consciousness about these dynamics of of stillness moving into movement and how that whole thing is working within me and in the field, as I become more conscious in that lovemaking, suddenly my groups and retreats are filled up with the struggle between man and woman. And introducing this into this field of sharing, and introducing that to each one as the same one as man and woman, and it taking place within the field of the groups. It's been so powerful, and so powerful in undoing the struggle between man and woman that has been in my system, like taken on from the imprints of the parents' impression and all of that. And I see it like in the groups, it's just bum, 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 like creating such shifts and like, wow, plan, this is life using this way through me. So I say, okay, this language is coming now. It can change next year if it does.
Yes.
But it's moving stuff.
Yeah, I totally get that, that somehow as you talk about the masculine and the feminine energy, somehow that whole subject of, relating between man and woman and, the whole history of that. I mean, yes, it's like it's kind of attracted into that energy, and it's attracted to be it's attracted to be burned, to be liberated. I totally get that, and I get also that that's maybe why you started using that language where you hadn't before.
Yeah, I never had before.
Mm-hmm.
So I did some sexual shadow work within my own psyche.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when I took on the language. But just as we're speaking right now, something that's coming through was that, the time where we are in evolution, yeah? Like before the time that we've been living ever before. It's like now the female Buddha, if you like.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the expression of the female is really coming through so powerful now. I mean, it
Yes,
seems,
totally.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's an
yeah.
epidemic, you know, like women are just
Mm.
bringing all these sexual groups and everything and coming out with their femininity, and like it's the end of patriarchy. And yeah, it's a whole new wave of so-called female true
Mm-hmm.
power coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which seems to be undoing the old
Mm.
traditions.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, like when I first so-called shifted, woke up,
Mm.
whatever, and waking up is
Mm.
forever. Um, it was very much my absolute
Mm.
awareness
Mm-hmm.
position,
Mm-hmm.
and all of my working with people was always very much
Mm.
cutting with that sword.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's been changing through me, through my
Mm.
system,
Mm-hmm.
without my decision about it. It's
Mm-hmm.
really,
Yeah, it's just how it expresses,
yeah,
isn't
as
it?
evolution is moving, the
Mm-hmm.
Shakti part of it, yeah, it was always happening. My rooms of retreats and that was always full of this, what we can
Mm-hmm.
call a Shakti energy, you know, which
Mm.
is never about the words. It's about this powerful
Yes.
force
Yeah, of
of
course.
divine grace,
Mm.
that just the container in which these shifts happen. And yeah, I just took it on. I was surprised when I first heard the language. I was like, what? That is called she? Okay. Yeah, that's she? Oh, now I know what moves through me when I drop. But
Mhm.
it feels like the lovemaking of existence, and that's always been there, just not with these words.
Mm. 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 Yes. You know, it's so interesting, isn't it? Because for me, that lovemaking is just it's more just an expression of the heart. I mean, that's the shape that it expresses, the way that it expresses in me,
Mm.
and in the the work that I do with people.
Mm.
Um,
It's feminine.
and yeah, and I love it. I mean, it's so, it's like whenever I offer something else, it doesn't happen. But the this this ex, this invitation, this invitation of people into the heart, into that essence of being as love, that's wow. That
Mm.
so
Mm.
beautiful, and that's what keeps happening.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that's how it's happening here.
It's not different. It's not different. It's like
No.
just as you start speaking it, I'm feeling it. It's the
Mm.
lovemaking. You know,
Yes,
it's not
yes.
different. It's
Hmm.
just that's another example of how it's never in the words.
Yes, totally. And there's it's kind of difference in perfume or flavor or taste.
But it's always so unique, isn't it?
Mm.
The expression that's
Mm.
what's so amazing is that we are the same
Yes.
one, and yet the unique flavor is
Yes.
so unique.
Hmm.
It's what makes it so tasty. It's Yeah. If we all had the same flavor and the same taste.
Yes, absolutely. And you know,
Yeah.
so different people benefit differently, you know, from those tastes. I mean, some get attracted to, you know, the what what it is, the taste that kind of is there in you, and some get attracted to the taste that's there in me and somebody else. And it's like, and it's beautiful that way, because that means everybody will find something that tastes right for them.
Yes.
Not to, you know, not to their conditioned personality, although that expresses through that too, but much more deeply. And you know what I do? I mean, my background, my spiritual background was in Buddhism, and when I was there in this Buddhist community, there were very few female teachers at the time. You know, Pema Chodron just came to be known, and there was Ayakema, um, who was quite old at that time already, and then passed away. And you know, there weren't many female teachers.
Right.
And at the time, I really felt a need for that. You know, there was something in me that really longed to have a female, more feminine expression of
Yeah.
those teachings, and was looking for them. And that's what's so beautiful now, is that, you know, there is that feminine expression everywhere, so much more. And it's just, yeah, it's delicious.
And it
It's there to
seems
be
like
enjoyed.
not always the case, but it seems like it's not always the case. But it does seem like it's much more natural in the feminine body to to be more like in the feeling of
Yeah.
feeling everything in the body and the all inclusiveness of
Mm-hmm.
you know, everything.
Yeah.
That has been the way, but now that's kind of changing slowly.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, right.
And who knows how it'll continue.
Yeah, it's exciting times. Really, yeah. It's really exciting because it's never going to be what we've known before.
Yes.
Yes. All the way in which it's been delivered before is going out of date, like everything.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is being updated. One thing will never ever change, of course, which is the ground of being. Yet the forms that it's all taking and bringing us to is really on that edge.
Well, it has to be fresh.
Yeah,
Otherwise, it's just a reproduction of some
yeah. That's
thought
why
or
so.
some idea.
And I don't know about you, but for me, it's like my whole life, every single moment is constant. I don't, without me doing anything, it's like I'm a living inquiry.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Without any effort, it's just going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, what comes to me is like I'm a living not knowing.
Yeah, and what you're not knowing on the level of ego,
Yes,
yet is there any knowing in you at all?
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. Living from that knowing is the only thing
Yes.
from what
But
I
that,
am.
but that knowing cannot know anything other
No,
than right here, right now, you know.
right.
So,
And it knows also the movement that's moving.
yes, yes, totally. And the
Yeah,
movement is in the moment too. I mean, it cannot
yeah.
be in the future, you
Well,
know.
that's
Though there can be a movement to organize things for the future, like, you know, like I felt this very clear movement to connect with you and
Wow.
and have this conversation. So here we are.
Yeah, and even you didn't know like what's the subject, but the movement is there, and the movement,
Yes,
no, yeah.
yes, yes.
It's really like living from not knowing on the level of ego mind, not knowing anything, moving with no idea, and
Mm.
yet moving with a very clear knowing
Yes. Yes,
of
and
the
it was
truth.
interesting how that expressed in terms of the subject, and then, you know, the subject that we could agree on was the great undoing.
There's always a place to meet, isn't there?
Yes.
There'll always be a place to meet. It's like I can always meet anybody in the true place of what we are, but not always on the personality levels.
Mm.
I'm about to blow out the candle it was creating.
Mm-hmm. So that true meeting, you know, it's interesting because at the personality level, there was this kind of like, you know.
I know, and I knew that even before you contacted me.
Yes, I was aware of that too.
Yeah. It's amazing now how we are just aware of each other all the time. We are aware of the communication that's happening without internet, without phones, without
Mm,
anything. Like
mm,
we move into each other's being just in this field of
yes.
consciousness and communicate.
Mm,
So I already was feeling you, and I already was feeling that,
mm,
aware of that.
mhm, mm.
Is there any? Do we have people on the call or?
Let me check again on YouTube. Actually, I think what I'll. Oh, okay. Um, so Victoria says, thanks for your answer. Beautiful. Worked for her. And Chulani from Australia, Ananta, it is so beautiful to be with you. Questions disappeared. Thank you, Grace. So she has no questions. I'm going to do something which I haven't done before, and
Great.
I'll see whether that works. What I'm going to do is post the link to the Google Hangout in the YouTube thread. Supposedly that works. So I haven't tried it out yet, but I will post it. And so if anybody wants to join us on the Hangout, just click on the link and we'll see what happens.
I did get a message this morning from somebody saying that the link wasn't active, but it's not supposed to be active, is it, until the time?
Yes, and I think she wrote to me too. I had two people writing. And I did answer them. So they should find the link. You should find the link active. It does seem to be active. So let's see whether anybody wants to join us. So do jump on. This is what these live conversations are all about. Is really to give you an opportunity also to be there with us and ask your question live to Ananta and see whether you survive it.
Or doesn't it?
Sorry, you broke up there. Can you say that again?
Yeah, I said also it doesn't need to be a question. It can be
Yes.
just a meeting.
Yes. Yes, totally. Yeah, we're meeting you already, Ananta. Ananta, what do you say? Would it be maybe just good to... Oh, here's Chulani coming on. Hi, Chulani.
Hello.
Let me unmute you.
Hello.
Yes, here you are. Hi, Chulani.
Can you hear me? Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Hi, Ananta. So nice to see you.
Lani,
Thank
hello.
you. Oh, so beautiful. I'm so happy.
Where are you? Australia?
Adelaide, yes.
I'm happy to meet you.
Oh, so beautiful.
Oh!
I think I should close the YouTube one. Okay. I was having some questions before, but all gone.
This is an easy job. Beautiful. Yeah. In the true meeting, the questions disappear. It's like we just come to our true being and there are no questions. Mm. Mm. I feel you. I feel you. Mm. Mm. Yum, yum, yum.
So beautiful.
Okay. If there are no questions,
No,
hmm, thank you.
thank
I'm
you.
as myself, as my own self.
Thank you.
Hmm.
Chulani, you can stay on. There's
Thank
no
you.
need to leave. We're just having a love fest here. So if anybody else wants to come and join us, you're very welcome.
The word coming to me in this moment is that this is the true marriage, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like the true meeting in experience, the
Yes,
true marriage.
absolutely. Mm, mm.
Till death us do part.
Yeah, or the internet.
Yeah, even then.
And at some level, there's no parting.
No, that's what I mean.
Yes.
But I'm surprised because lots of people told me they were joining.
Well, there's a few less people now, but there were about 25.
Wow.
Yeah. And
And you can
usually people a lot of people watch after because they can't make
yeah.
the live time, like, it's just too early for people on the west coast of North America. But I'm very happy because we got somebody from Australia, and it's usually like in the middle of the night for Australia, so I'm just very pleased.
What are you doing in Australia, Chulani?
And living with my family.
You
Mm,
live there?
yes, I I don't work. I just look after my kids.
Mhm.
You are originally from Australia? You don't have an
No,
accent from
no,
Australia?
I am Sri Lankan.
Ah,
That's why. Yeah.
and all of this language which is being used, um, how does that sound for you?
In the beginning, it was not easy to understand because the accent.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I don't mean the English accent. I mean the vocabulary.
Um, I don't know.
I think Chulani understands in the heart. She doesn't have to understand the language.
I feel it.
Yes. Ananta, are you still there? Hi, Ananta. Hmm. I think we lost Ananta. Ananta, if you can hear me, just try and come back on. Oh, yeah, I hear you. Hello. Ah, she's left. Maybe she'll come back on. So I'll take the time to just look at the YouTube thread. David says, this has a feeling of us sharing the same breath. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Beautiful. We're just here together, even breathing together. Heart breathing. David, if you would like to come on, please do. And I think we've lost Ananta. So maybe that's the time to end this conversation, taking the clue from what's happening. Ananta is no longer with us. So thank you, Trulani, for joining us. It's lovely to have you join us from Australia. That's very beautiful. And thank you to all of you for being with us, for listening, for watching, for asking questions. And just to say, I'll be at the SAND conference in San Jose next week. So if you're in the Bay Area planning to be at the conference, please do come introduce yourself. I'd love to meet some of the people who've been watching these events online. I don't know you unless you come onto the Hangout or unless you post a comment. So it'll just be such a great joy for me to actually meet you in person. And I'll probably won't see you, Chulani. Oh, here she is back, Ananta. Hi.
Yeah, what happened? What
Well,
happened?
I
Yeah.
don't know. You got thrown out, and I was just wrapping up.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So,
My phone wasn't, the power wasn't plugged in, and it was the 3G, so it. Yeah.
right.
Okay.
Right.
So
So, is there anything you'd like to say to end with? Because I'm kind of in a movement of bringing things to an end. It doesn't feel
sure.
good to open them up again.
Yes. Yes. So just thank you for this opportunity. Yeah, to open up to the greater field. Yeah, to open to meeting in this miracle that we are on top of the miracle that we're given. And thank you for meeting me here in all ways.
Oh, thank you, Ananta. It's been truly beautiful. I feel so. It's funny. The word comes to me in French. Choyer. I'm not quite sure what. I can't find the English word right now. I feel privileged isn't quite it. It's too technical. Um, I feel so spoiled, but that's not
Oh,
quite it either. But it's so to really meet, you know,
yeah,
it's always just so delicious. So
yeah,
thank you for
yes.
that.
It's
Thank you,
everything.
thank you,
It's
thank you.
everything. Thank you. And I wish you a great sand experience with the true meeting. Yeah, yeah. Thank you,
Yes.
Chilani.
Thank you, Ananta. Thank you so much. Thank you, Grace.
Thank you, Julani.
Thank you,
Thank
Grace.
you.
I feel the grace.
Thank you. Thank you, Ananta. Truly. Thank you, Chilani. Thank you
Thank
to everybody.
you.
Um, Thank you for being here with us. It's, it really is. It's just such a heart's delight to do this, to be there with you. So
Yeah.
thank you, thank you.
A beautiful opportunity you are creating. It's being created.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's truly voiceless. It just moves through me.
Yes,
So I just show up. I just do what I need to do, and it keeps happening.
I understand. Mm.
Mm, mm. So thank you, everybody. And
Yeah,
thank you for making a donation if you feel so moved. Always appreciate it. Unfortunately, in this world, there's a lot of cost involved with doing things on the internet. Um, and so I appreciate your contribution to making this happen. And I'll see you soon. Thank you, thank you, thank you,
okay.
thank
Thank you.
you.